Some incredibly high-stakes encounters are playing out right now in the skies over the Baltic Sea. And today, we're going to break down one of those moments, a really tense aerial standoff that honestly tells us a whole lot about modern military readiness and the new reality of European security. So let's set the scene. The date is April 20th, and on this day, the skies right near NATO's border became the stage for a critical, real-world test, a moment that put the alliance's multi-layered air defense systems on high alert. So what exactly sparked this response? Well, it all kicked off with the sudden appearance of a large and very capable Russian air group. We're talking a formation that immediately set off alarms all across NATO's command centers. And what's so striking here is just the sheer scale of this thing. This wasn't a single plane wandering off course, no way. We're talking about two Tu-22M3 supersonic bombers. These are serious, long-range strategic aircraft. And they weren't alone, oh no. They had a massive escort of around 20 advanced Su-30 and Su-35 fighter jets. That is a significant projection of air power. It's a statement. And it didn't take long for the event to be confirmed. A report from Ukrainska Pravda put it pretty plainly, stating NATO fighter jets intercepted Russian strategic bombers and fighter aircraft over the Baltic Sea. So yeah, this was very real, and we know exactly where this tense standoff went down. Okay, so you've got this large, very capable formation on your doorstep. How did the alliance react? Well, this is where you really get to see NATO in action. The response was fast, it was coordinated, and it involves a whole bunch of different nations. The first move, it came from the French. A contingent that was stationed in Lithuania as part of a standing NATO mission was scrambled to intercept. And this just goes to show you how absolutely critical these forward-deployed bases are for reacting to things in real time. But hold on, it wasn't just the French. Jets were scrambled from a whole coalition of countries. We're talking Poland, Denmark, Romania, and get this, Sweden and Finland too. The fact that NATO's newest members were part of this is a huge deal. It just shows how seamlessly they've already plugged into the alliance's collective defense. Now, this brings up a bigger question. Why are all these jets from all these different countries there in the first place? Well, this whole incident is basically a textbook example of a long-standing NATO mission in action. It really pulls back the curtain on the whole strategy behind this constant presence. It's called NATO's Baltic Air Policing Mission, and the concept is actually pretty simple, but it is absolutely vital. You see, some NATO members, like the Baltic states, don't have the kind of air forces needed to patrol their own skies 24/7. So, what happens? Other allies rotate in, providing the jets and the crews to help guard that airspace together. It's purely defensive mission, all about making sure every member's skies are secure. So for this particular rotation, you've got crews from France and Romania flying out of the Chalier base in Lithuania, which, you guessed it, is exactly where this response was launched from. At the same time, you have Portugal flying patrols from their base in Estonia. It's a perfect example of everybody sharing the responsibility. Now, it would be a huge mistake to look at this April 20th interception and think it was just a one-off event that came out of nowhere. It's actually part of a very consistent pattern of activity in the region, a pattern of testing and responding. Let's just look at the timeline real quick. On March 31st, the French and Romanian teams take over the watch. A little over 2 weeks later, boom, April 15th, Romanian jets intercept a Russian recon plane. And then, just 5 days after that, we have this huge interception that we've been talking about. You see, there's this constant, steady drumbeat of activity. So the bottom line is this. While these encounters are definitely tense, no question about it, they're also, in a way, routine. They're the visible proof that the Baltic Air Policing mission is working exactly the way it's supposed to. It's all part of a continuous, vigilant, defensive posture in a super important part of the world. So this state of constant alert, this sort of cat and mouse game happening in the skies over the Baltic, it really seems like this is the new normal. And that leaves us with a pretty big question, right? What does this cycle of probing and responding, this constant state of vigilance, really signal for the future of European security?